Hello everyone, this is Joseph from English with Joseph. How are you today? Well, I hope. Well, today I want to talk to you about something very different. It's something which is called an idiom. Not an idiot. An idiot is a very stupid person. An idiom, I-D-I-O-M, is something we use in English. It's a sentence of words, as you would expect, but the meaning it carries is different from the actual words. Let me give you an example. Oh, that person is always on my back. John, oh, he's always on my back. Now, let's look at that sentence. John is always on my back. Let me just look at my back. Okay, John isn't there. So what does it mean? John is always on my back. What is it? Well, the answer is it's a metaphor. It doesn't mean John is sitting there, but it means John is always pressuring me to do something. He's always pushing me. And the metaphor is you can feel the pressure on your back. It's like someone sitting there, pushing, pushing, pushing. John isn't really there, but John is always on my back means that John is pushing me to do something. John is always on my back. So the metaphor there is someone's on my back, but there isn't anyone real there. So, John is always on my back. He won't leave me alone. But he's not really there. That's one example of an idiom. Let me give you another example. You know what? He's really taken me for a ride. My friend Steve, he's really taken me for a ride. Now, what does that mean? You would think I would be pleased maybe to take a ride in a car with someone, but no, in English, he's taken me for a ride means he's cheated on me. He pretended something was fine and it wasn't. So he led me into a sense of security where everything was okay, and I believed him, but yet it wasn't. So I didn't really go anywhere with him. I didn't really go for a ride with him in his car. It's a metaphor, again. And we have so many of these in English, and you'll only know them once you hear them, and you have to learn each one individually. There's no easy way around that, unfortunately. Another one is to say about someone, she's really pushing the boat out, isn't she? She's really pushing the boat out. Does that mean that she has a boat and she's pushing it? Of course it doesn't. What it means to say is that she is making an extra effort about something, usually concerning finance. That's how you usually hear this. Oh, she's really pushing the boat out. Look, she bought 3 new dresses today. That's the kind of idea, and that's the idea behind an idiom. You say something which has a different meaning. The problem is, you see, English doesn't really have a lot of words which covers every scenario. So sometimes you have to speak in parables, little stories, to try to get your meaning across. English is very unusual in that regard. Other languages like Arabic, even Spanish, and the more romantic languages really have words, one word, in fact, for these kind of scenarios, But we don't have in English, so we tend to have to create a parallel universe in order to teach you what we mean. Idioms have their own rules. Their own rules about being used, their own rules on how to use them, There's no easy way for me to explain that. If you can avoid them, then it may be safer until you learn them. There's one idiom I really hate. I want to tell you about that idiom now. It's an idiom I really don't like. And I hear it every day. And it's not even proper English, so I don't know why they say it. An idiom which is very common here is to say, you're taking the piss. You know what? You're taking the piss. I even hear bosses saying it to employees. Those words, you're taking the piss, means you're taking urine from me. Why would you want to say that to anyone? Why would you really want to say to someone, you're taking my urine? Huh? Anyway, its meaning is that you're making fun of me, or you're going too far, you're pushing me far. You're trying my patience. I'm losing my temper with you. That's what it means. And I have no idea why they say it. I have no idea where it came from. A more polite one maybe is you're taking the mick. You're taking the mick. And I don't know why they say that either. Mickey Mouse isn't there. So why would they say it? I don't know. But that kind of idiom is something which is very, very common in our language today, and you will hear it daily. And I really hope that with the passing of time you get used to these idioms, because there's so many of them, because English is not a romantic language which has or is direct enough to deal with situations on their own terms. Another reason why we have these idioms is because English people aren't good with very direct communication. In fact, they're not good with direct communication at all. If you have a problem with someone, you would go to them and you would say, excuse me, you have a problem with me? I want to talk to you about it. That's a healthy way of doing it. English people would prefer to mutter about it behind people's backs, you know. It's just a cultural thing, it's the way that they are. But they don't like confrontation. It's not something which is part of our makeup. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. So to use an idiom, like you're taking the piss, avoids the words of you're trying my patience, which would be seen as being aggressive. So it's kind of like a sidestep, you could say. It's very dysfunctional, and I don't know why they do it, but that's the way it is. Okay, these are things that you won't hear in the language books, but I can assure you, you will hear them in daily English life. Also, depending on which part of the UK you come to, you might be greeted with something like, "Whatcha? Wet? Wet, mate? Wet? Wet? I'm a wet. You're wet." Now, why they're asking you if you're alright? Why they're asking you if you're alright? I don't know, because they don't care. It's a way of breaking the ice to make conversation with you. Okay, nothing to be afraid of, but it's a different way of asking you, hello, how are you doing? Very informal. In fact, so informal that you would be suspicious of it. Hello, how are you is the proper way to communicate. But there are a number of other ways that you will hear, and you should look out for these. Oi. Meanwhile, if you go to the north, Scotland, Ireland, the north of England, rather than someone saying to you, how are you? You hear, how are you? How are you? Aye, how are you? Just something to be aware of in case you ever go travelling. Same thing, how are you? But in Scottish dialects, north of England, Ireland, you changes to ye. Say it fast, how are you? Aye, how are you? How you doing? Yeah. But you'll only hear that in regional dialects. It's not something to be concerned about. What is a bigger concern though are those idioms. Okay? Because that's something which again and again you're going to be faced with. A common one I use with my colleagues a lot is if they turn up for work early. If my colleagues turn up for work early, I might say to them, what happened to you? Did you fall out of bed? What I'm saying there is, what happened to you? Did you fall out of bed? Okay, so it's a very polite way of saying, why are you here early? Did something wake you up? Because you're not usually here early. In fact, usually you're here late. So did you fall out of bed? Is that why you're here? And that's something funny that you can say to someone. Another idiom. He took to that like a duck to water. It was amazing. That means that he found the thing very easy to do. He took to it, that's the past tense of take, he took to that like a duck takes to water. Now you know a duck takes to water very naturally, okay? So you're comparing the two. He did that job just as naturally as a duck takes to water. He took that like a duck takes to water. It was amazing. He did such a good job. It was like a duck taking to water. So you can see that's another idiom. There's so many of them. And when you hear them, you just have to stop for a minute and think what the possible metaphor might be. And if you're in any doubt, you ask. Thanks. Goodbye.